All right. Christ is risen. Christos anesti. Christos voscrese. El mesicom. Hamashiachom. Christus resurrexit. Christo ha resucitado. Christos anviat. Christi unial. Harisutosu fukatsu. Jidu fuhola. All right. So, you know what that means? This was made during the Paschal season.
We're back.
All right. So today, something a little different. We're doing our top 10 video games. Asterisk. Asterisk meaning some rules attached. Rule number 1. 1 per franchise.
This was really hard. This was really hard to do.
Rule number 2. No compilations. That's cheating. You can't pick a game full of games.
That's fair. Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Rule 3. No compilations, but if a game is released in multiple parts, you can include all the parts. So if the game has DLC, you can include the DLC. If it's a PC game that has expansion packs, you can include the expansion packs as part of the whole thing. So, all right. With that, I think we'll start with our honorable mentions. So, I have a few. I believe I have about...
I've got 5.
I also have 5 honorable mentions. So, Dana, why don't you do your first honorable mention?
Excuse me. So my first honorable mention, some of these are honestly going to surprise you. I'm going to go from the bottom up.
Okay.
So my first honorable mention is Sonic Heroes.
Okay.
So Sonic Heroes, GameCube, 2004.
3?
3 or 4. One of those years.
We'll pull it up here on the video.
Exactly. I had a lot of fun with that game. I call it Sonic Adventure 3 because it basically is Sonic Adventure 3. I love the dynamic of having 4 different teams. Team Rose, Dark, Chaotix, and Sonic, and going through each level as them as the story progresses. Find out each side. Then you get to the final part where you play as all 4 teams at once, and then get Super Sonic in the Metal Overlord fight. It was just a fun game. You get to control the speed, the flight, and the power. It was very well done for its time. Very well done game for its time.
All right. My first honorable mention, Medal of Honor Allied Assault, including the Spearhead and Breakthrough expansions.
I don't have a Medal of Honor game on my list. I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah, so this is... Allied Assault was basically my introduction to first-person shooters, so that kind of kicked off a thing for me. So, I mean, without these games, we wouldn't have had, like, Call of Duty or, like, maybe not even Halo. But so, yeah, these games just really put first-person shooters on a map. They exploded the market. So, really, I spent so much time with these games when I was in high school. So,
I remember that.
Yeah. So, yeah, introduction to first-person shooting. Love the World War II setting. Love killing Nazis. Yeah. So, my first honorable mention is Medal of Honor Allied Assault plus expansion packs.
Nice. Okay, so my second honorable mention is another GameCube game, Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, that
I
is a fun
love
game.
these games. I never got the second one because I didn't bother getting the 3DS, but I got the third one for the Switch. And these games are so fun. You're just playing as Luigi, going around catching ghosts in your vacuum, and you get funny little dude going around catching booze. In the third one, you get a dog, or in the second one, you get a dog. He carries over to the third game. His name's Polterpup. And it's just a fun game. It's obviously a game meant for children, but I had fun with it.
I remember on one of my saves, I got all gold portraits.
Oh, nice.
In addition to getting all the booze and everything, the best mansion, I also got all gold portraits.
Gee. Good for you. I never knew that.
All right, my second honorable mention is Digimon World.
Okay.
The first one.
Okay.
Yes, there weren't many Digimon games around here, but man, that first one, so much fun.
There was something special about that game.
It was. I didn't really care for the second Digimon World, and I didn't really play any of the ones after that.
I wasn't a big fan of the second one either.
Man, that first one, it was just so much fun. Raising on the Digimon, trying to get, when you finally get your first ultimate.
I remember, I remember playing that game a lot.
Yeah, so even though it wasn't even like fully localized, there was a lot like left untranslated in game. It was full of glitches, definitely. But you know what? It was charming.
It's a 1990s video game.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
But man, so much fun. I loved Digimon World.
All right, this one's gonna shock you. My next one is Kingdom Hearts 3 plus Remind.
Wow,
it is in my honorable mentions.
That does shock me.
Yes. Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind is in my honorable mentions, and I'm going to tell you why. So, I love Kingdom Hearts 3 as much as the next person. It's one of my top 3 Kingdom Hearts games all time. But there is not enough worlds. I love the story. I love the progression. Everything comes together in the Keyblade Graveyard, and then the Remind, which I'll get into in a minute. But there are not enough worlds. I'm sorry, but there were, let's see, there's Toy Box, Arendelle, San Francisco, Corona, Olympus. There's only like 7 or 8 Disney worlds in the game. And most of them are just rehashes of the movie themselves.
Mm.
The only ones that have any kind of relative new story are Toy Box and no, not even Pirates. Pirates is a continuation off of Dead Man's Chest, basically, or At World's End. Excuse me. So, Toy Box is the only one that I can really think of that has a new story. So, but the Remind, this is a whole nother video I can do. The Remind, I loved the Remind. I loved the DLC. You go back, you play as every single character. You play as Riku, Roxas, everybody in that one final fight scene, and Kairi. And you go through the data battles. And this may be the reason why you think this might be number one, is because of the Yozora fight. How much time I spent on the Yozora fight. I spent hours on this fight. And I am so excited to see what the future holds for Kingdom Hearts with that fight. Because, like I said, I can do a whole nother video on just Yozora, on his dialogue, and that's it. Yeah, it's in my honorable mentions.
Okay. My next honorable mention: Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Even though maybe from a gameplay standard, Budokai 3 might be the better game. I'm going with Tenkaichi 3 basically for one reason. You can get basically every character with every costume there is. There's any matchup you want, you can move it there. And even, like I said, the Budokai 3 might be superior gameplay-wise, but even with Tenkaichi 3, it's easy to get in there and start fighting and doing things. And I just love Tenkaichi 3. It's just like the most complete, fun Dragon Ball Z game I've ever played.
I agree. I do love Tenkaichi 3. We played a lot of friggin' Dragon Ball games.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Dragon Ball games.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
All right.
So this next one's really going to shock you. I have Ocarina of Time
Oh, okay.
on my honorable mentions.
Okay.
So we played the heck out of Ocarina of Time, and it was actually the very first game that we got with the GameCube when I got it, because it came with the GameCube,
Yeah.
with the 4-pack.
Yeah, the collector's edition.
Yeah, which I'm really glad we got, because we played like we said, we played the hell out of Ocarina of Time, and did so many things. But there was one game that I just liked a lot better than it.
Yeah.
Like, I loved the aspect. I loved it. I love the aspect of it. I love the open world. I love being able. It's one of the first 3D Zelda games,
Yep.
if not the first, right?
Yeah, first one.
So, of course, it has its bugs. It has everything. Excuse me, but I love it. It is on my honorable mentions, though.
Okay. All right. My next honorable mention: Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Okay. I don't have any Lego games.
Yeah, I love. Tanner knows I love me some Lego games.
The hell out of these Lego games.
Yes. So it was a tough call between this one and Star Wars: The Complete Saga. But this one I should out, I think, because it's bigger. There's more to do, and I think I like Marvel more than Star Wars. So, but yeah, the open world, all the Lego characters, the getting up to 100%. It's just so much fun. I mean, Lego games are fun in general. And then you throw in all my favorite Marvel characters in here, and it's just such a blast.
You gotta love Marvel.
Yeah.
The expansion is just insane.
Yeah. So yeah, Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Okay. So my next one is a Dragon Ball Z game, but it's Budokai 3.
Okay.
It is Budokai 3. Yeah. The greatest Dragon Ball Z opening to a video
It
game
is the
ever.
best Dragon Ball Z opening.
Literally,
Yes.
ever.
Yes.
But it is in my honorable mentions, because it's more or less a rehash of the first 2 games. There are more added characters. There's a little bit more to the story. But in a sense, all they really did was just add more characters, and it's kind of just a rehash. They did add like the Dragon mode, or the Dragon Rush mode. Put in more fusions, put in GT characters, but that's it. Like, everybody's still within the same power levels. Like, you can beat anybody with anybody. It's just, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I played it. I spent hours on that game, but yeah, that's in my honorable mentions. Yeah.
All right, my last honorable mention I feel kind of bad about, because I feel like I should have one of these games in the top 10 somewhere, but it just couldn't quite make it. So I'm going with Super Mario Brothers 3.
Okay.
I know Mario is iconic in video gaming.
Yeah.
I understand video game today would not exist without Super Mario Brothers, and Mario's done a lot for video games.
He
I
really
love
has.
I love my Mario series. I really
he
do.
more or less set the tone for video
Mhm.
games.
Yeah,
Like
so
modern video games, rather.
yeah, but honestly, I didn't have a lot of Nintendo systems until we got like the GameCube and stuff. So
yeah.
I haven't played as many Mario games as I have others. But, I mean, I played the heck out of my
Game Boy Color.
my Game Boy Color, Super Mario Bros. My Super Mario Bros. 3 on the Game Boy Advance. So yeah, I do love Mario, and my favorite one, Super Mario Brothers 3, but just doesn't quite cut into the top 10.
Okay, that's fair.
All right,
So for my top 10, the only one that's really solidified is my number 1.
Okay.
Everything else is just kind of out there.
Okay.
So at number 10, I have The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker.
Okay.
I loved The Wind Waker. I love the animation. I love the playstyle. I love the open world with the boat, with the King of the Red Lions. I love the how you can go back to Hyrule underwater, which is basically from Ocarina of Time.
Mm.
I loved this game. Everything
was.
about this game was awesome.
It was.
It just the characters, the temples were fun.
Mhm.
The temples were so fun. The way you get the Triforce, the fights with Ganon, it's multiple stages.
Mhm.
It was just a fun game overall. If I had finished Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, or Breath of the Wild, one of those would probably be up there. But considering the fact I beat Zelda: The Wind Waker, it is on there for that reason.
I remember 100%ing Wind Waker, and yeah, that is a great game.
Wind Waker is a beautifully
It's-
done game,
It is. I love that game.
especially for its time.
Mhm.
So
Okay. All right. My number 10, Kingdom Hearts 3.
okay,
So even though I agree with what you said about some of the worlds and stuff, I did appreciate the new worlds in this game because I love my classic worlds. I love going to Agrabah and everything.
Yeah.
But again, they'd already done those worlds. There wasn't much left to do. So it was nice to have some of the newer worlds from the newer movies.
Mhm.
I mean, Arendelle was kind of a disappointment when it should have been
Arendelle was a huge
should have been the
disappointment.
best world, but if
it was the worst world in the game.
yeah. So that's a separate video. I'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll do that in a whole nother video.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do a Kingdom Hearts world video. But yes, it should have been the best world. It was really disappointing. But even with that, I love the Port Royal and the pirate ship and everything. And
Caribbean was the most beautifully done world in that
it
game.
was so gorgeous.
Beautifully done in
it
that
was
game.
So much fun. All the new Keyblades and the Keyblade modes and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally getting Toy Story.
You can have all the party members. You can have Donald and Goofy plus 2 more party members.
Yeah. So, it just so expansive. Probably the best gummy mode out of any of the
Oh,
games.
by far, I love the gummy ship. It's the only gummy ship mode I've ever completed that I've wanted to complete.
So yeah, the apex of the series was well worth the wait for all those years
Yeah.
to get from 2 to 3.
Plus, I know you didn't play the DLC, but
Yeah.
ugh, I
Yes.
spent so many hours on those data fights in Uzora.
So yeah,
I cannot wait for Verum. There's gonna be a Verum Rex game. There has to be.
so yeah. All the Kingdom Hearts games I played, I consider 3 the best.
Okay. So my next one, my number 9 is Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
Okay.
So I had to put Tenkaichi 3 up there because there's so many different. There's all, like you said, every single character up until, since Super wasn't around at the time, so up until the end of GT. There's all the story modes. There's what if story modes. There's guest characters. There's friggin' Arali in the game, who just dominates. And there's all kinds of characters. Like, it was one of the very first games I ever played online. And wasn't too bad, actually, online. But, like, all the story modes, all the movie modes, it was just so much fun. I had so much fun with Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I spent hours. There were so many hours that I spent on all these games.
Yeah.
It was just so worth it.
Mhm.
And I just had a blast. I loved it.
Okay. All right.
Over Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah.
I like Dragon Ball Fighters, but I don't know. There's just something about Tenkaichi 3 that holds special.
Yeah, it is really special. All right, so number 9. So as Tanner knows, I love my fighting games, and one of my second favorite fighting game series is Street Fighter.
I don't even have a Street Fighter. Oh, I didn't even put Street Fighter on here.
Yeah, but the game that stands out above all other Street Fighters to me is Street Fighter Alpha 3.
I love Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Yeah, great. It was such a full cast of characters, so anyone could find a character that they liked. The animation is beautiful. on PlayStation, when you finally go through World Tour mode and unlock all the secret characters, man, what a satisfying feeling that was.
Guile.
Yeah.
How many times did you spend?
It took me so long to get Guile, and I finally got it. Oh, it's so worth it. The payoff and everything. This was probably one of the best games on the PlayStation period.
Oh.
Not just the best fighting game, but easy contender for one of the best on the
Easily.
system. Yes.
On the original's PlayStation.
Yes. Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Very nice. So my next one is a PlayStation 2 game, Grand Theft Auto 3.
Okay.
I have GTA 3. I love Grand Theft Auto 3. This is the first Grand Theft Auto game we ever played. It's one of the only ones that I've ever completed the entire story. I've completed that one and Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5. It was just a fun game. Claude didn't say a whole hell of a lot, but the islands were fun to go to. The secret area, all the side missions, getting all these hidden packages, the story. It was just a fun game to play. We spent hours on that game.
Mm-hmm.
So many hours on all of these games. Honestly, every single game that's on my list, I've spent hours on.
Yep.
But it was just so fun. Such a fun game growing up.
Mm-hmm. All right. My number 8, Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Okay. I remember you.
Yeah. I love GTA 3, but Vice City really took 3, and I feel it improved on it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I like the newer car models better than the 80s car models, but man, in terms of gameplay, I think Vice City just nailed it. I never completed San Andreas 100%.
Too long of a
but
game.
like I did for 3 in Vice City, so I tried 100%ing San Andreas, but I always get burnt out and have to come back to it. I'm not going to go back and do it. I'm not playing Grand Theft Auto games anymore for reasons, but the ones I have played in 100%, GTA Vice City. It was challenging, but not ridiculously difficult.
I remember you did a no cheat.
I did a no cheat 100% safe. Yes, I did. So that was probably the pinnacle of my Grand Theft Auto achievements, was the 100% no cheat save on Vice City, and that took a long time, but man, the payoff was worth it. It felt good to do it, honestly, because of all the rewards and everything. Getting the Hunter helicopter, getting all the
Everything.
vigilante rewards, the firefighter rewards, getting all the
just everything.
double health and armor and everything.
If achievements were a thing back then,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been crazy.
So yeah, my favorite Grand Theft Auto game, Vice City.
Okay, fair enough. So this next one on my list, you don't have any of these, but I have NBA 2K13. Anybody knows me, I love basketball. I love basketball. I have it on my forearm, and I literally love basketball. This was one of the first 2K games I got, and Deshaun and I spent hours playing online with this. I had so much fun with the my career mode. I was averaging like 115 points, 27 rebounds, and 12 assists a game, or some crazy stat line like that. Or that was reversed, I'm not sure. But it's the only my career I've ever completed. Won the championship as a rookie, won every major award as a rookie. I just had fun with this game. I spent hours on this game. Did a whole 82 game season, went 82-0. I just had fun. I just had so much fun with that game, with the online mode and character customization. I was a deadly 3-point shooter. I just had fun with the game. So much fun with that game.
All right. Okay, my number 7, Pokemon Gen 1, Red and Blue.
Okay.
Go ahead with your Gen 1 comments. Yeah, I'm pretty much a Gen 1. I mean, I played Gold and Silver, and I loved Gold and Silver, but man, there's just something about those first games.
Absolutely.
How much time I spent on those games actually catching them all. Thank you, Master Ball Glitch.
Right.
Yeah, and actually catching them all. I did complete the Pokedex. I beat the Elite Four and built a great team. Man, I spent so much time on those games and so many great memories. So Pokemon.
Would you
Gen
put
1.
Yellow in that list as well?
No, because I can get away with Red and Blue because they're basically the same game, but Yellow is different enough, I think, that it's the same generation, but I would put it separately from Red and Blue.
Okay.
I can't count as this quite the same game.
Okay. Cool. So next on my list is my only Mario game on here. I have Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Mhm.
I loved this game. I got it. I had it for the Game Boy Advance SP, and again spent hours on this game. I love this game so much. You play as Mario and Luigi, obviously. You go to different parts of the world fighting Kakaleta and Bowser and Bowletta after Kakaleta takes over Bowser's body. You fight all the Koopa kids. It was just a fun game. Even after I beat it, we went and got the Game Shark, and I just one-shotted my way through the entire game. It's just a fun game to play. I had so much fun with it. The dynamic of the game, the controls were super easy. You could switch between Mario and Luigi, who was in front. I heard there was a secret ending, but I never bothered to find it. But I had fun with that game. Only Mario game on my list. Any other Mario game I've ever played is like Mario Party or Mario Kart, and they're all the exact same games, essentially.
All right. Number 6. Crash Bandicoot Warped.
I almost put that on my list, but I took it off and put 2K13. I almost had Warped on my list.
So I love my Crash Bandicoot games on the PlayStation, that original trilogy. I had 100% saves for 1, 2, and then a 105% save on Warped. And Warped was just my favorite. I loved going through different time periods and everything.
Warped was a blast.
It was so much fun, and when I get that 105% finish, and man, I love the power-ups. Those were such a great addition. Who doesn't love the Fruit Bazooka? And
how can you
just
not?
break the game, go back to the early levels, and just destroy everything.
Oh, yeah. And it was even better done on the Insane Trilogy, too.
Yeah, the remaster. I remember you got the Insane Trilogy, and I 100% all the games in like a week.
And then I went back and beat that one Slippery Climb.
Yeah.
That was... Oh, my gosh.
So,
that level was hard.
Yeah, so my favorite Crash Bandicoot game, Crash Bandicoot Warped.
I don't have a Crash Bandicoot game on here, but I almost put that one but I took it off. So my next one, my only Mortal Kombat game on this list is Mortal Kombat 9. Mortal Kombat 9. This game brought the series back to life. The series was going down the drain. I mean, look at the game before that, Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. I mean, come on. It's a Mortal Kombat game that's rated T for teen. And then you come back with this gen, Mortal Kombat 9, where you basically go back in time and Raiden has to stop what happens, and you get a whole new story, basically.
Mm-hmm.
There's some changes. You get Cyber Sub-Zero, Blind Kenshi, Scarlet's an actual character this time around. This was also the very first game where we got a guest character. We got Freddy Krueger, and a PlayStation exclusive, they got Kratos, which I'm very jealous of. But nonetheless, it was a great game. The combat was great. The fatalities were fantastic, and it revitalized the series. It brought the series back to life, and it was just a fun game to play.
Okay. All right. Number 5. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Yes. My favorite Zelda game to this day. Oh, what a classic this game is. Just so well done. It was basically a perfect game when it came out, and it still really holds up to this very day. It is just such a blast.
It's still classified as one of the greatest video games ever made.
It really is. It's just so much fun. The open world, the dungeons, the side quests.
Water Temple.
Yeah, the Water Temple. When you 100% the Water Temple without a guide. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, just such a fun game, such a blast. Collecting everything, my 100% save with no deaths that I did for that game. Yeah, I loved that game. I played the heck out of that game. It is just, to me, it is the Zelda game.
It is a pretty damn good Zelda game. So next on my list, I have Sonic Generations.
Okay.
I loved the 20th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog, which I'm surprised we're not getting a 30th anniversary game yet, because it is this year's 30 years since Sonic came out. And the 20th anniversary was awesome. I loved Sonic Generations. It was the first video game I ever got every achievement on. Thank you, Xbox, for stealing my achievement from Crisis City. But it was the first game that I got every achievement on. I loved going back to the classic levels. You could play as classic Sonic, going back to Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary. I couldn't think of that third one. But just seeing it from both aspects, from modern and classic, it was just a fun game to play. It was Roger Craig Smith's debut as Sonic, who's no longer playing Sonic, which sucks. But I just had so much fun playing that game. Played hours on it.
All right. Let's see. Okay. My number 4. My favorite fighting game series is Mortal Kombat. So I had to pick Mortal Kombat. 2011.
Okay, so Mortal Kombat 9.
Yes.
Okay, so we had the same Mortal Kombat.
We had the same Mortal Kombat.
Okay, good.
Yeah, what you said revitalized the series. I loved the new story mode.
Absolutely.
They did that so well. Filling out what the original storyline where it diverges and everything. Honestly, I was really disappointed in MKX's story mode after playing MK9's story mode. I feel like they really skimped out a lot on.
It got kind of
MKX's.
lazy.
Yeah, the story modes from the follow-ups I don't think have been as strong, but man, they did it right for this game. And the gameplay was excellent. The new X-ray moves and everything. The controls were so tight and so perfect. It just plays so well. The story is so great. The characters are there. And I feel conflicted about Freddy Krueger's DLC. I mean, on the one hand, oh yeah, cool, a guest character. But on the other hand, now half of the DLCs in a Mortal Kombat game are a guest characters.
Now you've got like Rambo and Terminator.
Yeah,
and
it's like,
Joker.
can I get some Mortal Kombat characters in my Mortal Kombat game, please?
Yeah.
So yeah, I still think I would prefer a fourth Mortal Kombat character to Freddy Krueger. But really, other than that, I mean, the best Mortal Kombat game.
Absolutely.
I just can't really say anything negative about it.
Yeah. My number 3 is a game that I recently just played on my Twitch channel, Visage. It was one of those psychological horror games. So it's about this guy, his name's Dwayne Anderson. He kills his family at the beginning of the game. Then you go through, there's technically 4 chapters in the game. There's Dolores, the old lady, Lucy, the daughter, and then Raken, the son, or whatever the hell he is. And you go through each of their like demises, through their stories, and it's just a fun game to play. And at points in the game, you have to avoid them specifically, like they will chase after you and kill you. And once you complete all of their chapters, you have to go through and do like the 7 deadly sins and get parts of a mask. And when you complete the mask, you put it on and you go down to the basement, and then you get to reunite with your family, and that's the end of the game. I think I spent like 20 hours on this game, and I had a blast. I had so much fun with this game. Would frustrate me at times. In the Dolores chapter, I think I streamed that chapter by itself like 4 or 5 times, but I loved that game. I really hope there's a sequel on it because I would love to learn more about the lore of Visage.
Okay. All right. So my number 3. Well, my favorite FPS series is Call of Duty. So, what did I pick?
Probably one of the Modern Warfares.
Oh, you would be correct. Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare.
Okay, the first one.
Yep.
Okay.
Because before this, Call of Duty had been World War II, and it was a lot of fun going around killing Nazis and everything. Here they brought it to the modern era. It was something that Call of Duty hadn't done before. It was a big break. I mean, they had World at War in the thing in case it wasn't successful, so they could go back to the successful World War II formula. But man, they did it so right, and it spawned just this whole slew of new ways to do Call of Duty.
As I say, it really changed the way of Call of Duty forever.
Yeah, and it was just so well done. I mean, the story mode is so great. I mean, you're playing along, and then a nuke goes off and your character dies. And what? What the heck? What just happened here? And yeah, the modern weapons, the flashback to Pripyat when you're Captain Price and you take Zakea's arm off. Man, it changed Call of Duty forever. It introduced so many things that are now staples of the series. I just feel that this really is the best Call of Duty game, and I love the other Modern Warfare 2. I think the Modern Warfare trilogy might be the peak of storytelling in video games. I love Modern Warfare 2. I love Modern Warfare 3, but man, I think got to go with the original.
That's fair. All right. So my number 2, I have Resident Evil 7 right now because this video was filmed before Resident Evil 8 came out, which I'm going to start streaming on Friday, May 8th. So Resident Evil 7, you finally get away from Raccoon City because I played Resident Evil 3 and I've seen other people play Resident Evil 2. And you go away from Raccoon City, you're in a Louisiana swamp, and you have to go find your missing wife who's been missing for like 3 years, and you end up in this old house with these. It's called Biohazard for a reason. Like, they're infected. This little girl is basically the devil. I think she's like the devil. But she infects the whole family, and you got to kill all the family. They can respawn and regenerate. And it's a Resident Evil game. Like, there's bound to be zombies and stuff everywhere. Like, you have to make your way through the house and through everything, and it was just so much fun to play. I spent hours on this game. Like, it was one of my most popular streams, and I just loved it. I had so much fun with Biohazard.
My number
Even
two,
though, sorry to interrupt, but even though Ethan is a scumbag, he's terrible. He's a terrible husband. He's going to be a terrible father in this game.
okay.
Promise you that.
All right. So at number 2, I have Zeus, Master of Olympus, and the Poseidon expansion.
About that game.
I just love this game. The city building aspect of it, build your own ancient Greek city, run the most efficiently.
I could never get into this game.
Yeah, I just loved it. Building the sanctuaries, summoning the gods, and then the monsters come. You summon the heroes, take care of the monsters, and I just found it so much fun. But you're not the mythology nerd that I am, so
I'm not.
But yeah, I'm a huge mythology nerd, so I just loved this game. I still play it.
Yeah, I tried playing Caesar 3 there for a while. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, Zeus is a lot more fun than Caesar 3. So yeah, my Zeus, Metro Olympus plus the Poseidon expansion. Not just a building Greek cities, but then the Poseidon expansion, you get Atlantis, so you build the ancient Atlantean cities, and that whole lore they added to it. I just found these games to be so much fun, and again, I do still play them. So
Okay. All right, so my number 1, if you haven't figured it out, it's a Kingdom Hearts game, obviously. It's Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 was so far ahead of its time in 2006. The combat in this game was so fantastic. The story, yes, you go, like you said, you go back to Worlds, which we don't talk about Atlantica. You go back to Agrabah, and you go back to the Radiant Garden and stuff like that. But this game was so far ahead of its time in terms of combat. The drive forms were amazing. We get new characters. We get to meet Roxas. We get to meet the Twilight Town crew. We get to go more into the organization from Rechain of Memories, which was a terrible game. Well, at least the combat was terrible in that game. You go back to Worlds to fight other Heartless. You get to fight classic Disney villains.
Mm-hmm.
You get to fight Scar. You get to fight Jafar again. You get to fight... who else do you get to fight in that game? There's so many people you get to fight about in that
Shan
game.
Yu and Hayabusa.
Shan Yu, Shenzi, Banzai, and Ed. There's so many characters you get to fight. Barbossa, Oogie Boogie again. You get to fight so many characters like
Ursula.
We don't talk about Atlantica.
Swim this way.
Shut up. I'm gonna keep going on this game. But Radiant Garden, you fight Sephiroth. The Sephiroth's dumbed down a lot in this game compared to Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 1, he was hard. Kingdom Hearts 2, it took me a while, but it didn't take me nearly as long as in Kingdom Hearts 1. Plus, I needed that Keyblade to fight Lingering Will. I tried beating Lingering Will by myself, and I couldn't do it. That man is Satan in armor. Armor too angry to die. Seriously. Which, I love Terra. Terra, Aqua, and Ven is one of my favorite trios in all of Kingdom Hearts. But that boss battle is not fair. Everything he does will take your health down to 1. And let's not talk about his ludicrous ultimate. Good lord. But all I did was grab Fenrir, just turn on negative combo, and just slap the crap out of him. That's how I beat him. Judge me, I don't care.
Okay.
There's just so much to do in that game.
There is. Yeah, I love that game. I remember on PS2 filling out Jiminy's journal, finally doing that.
I
completing that.
I can't beat the data fights. All I have to do, all I have left to do is the data fights, and I can't finish them because they are that hard. I think I've got like 6 done, but they're just so hard to beat.
Mm-hmm. All right, so my number 1, Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah, okay, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, close call between this one and Sonic 2, but I think this one edges out Sonic 2 just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've 100%ed this game with every character. I just love this. I love all the levels. I love the power-ups. I even like the special stages. Normally the special stages, just things you do because you have to, because you want to get the emeralds, but I've done these enough that I know by heart I can get perfects on all of them and get my super forms and just blast through the game and then go back to the early levels with the hyper form and just smoke it through. I just love this game. It is
I'm
so
surprised
much
you don't
fun.
have Sonic Mania on here.
Again, I do love my Sonic Mania, but Sonic 3 and Knuckles has just been such a huge part of my video game life for so long. There's so much nostalgia. It is just like I spent so much time with it. It's a huge part of me. And storytelling before games were really good at storytelling. This one did it. It was able to tell a story in game, cutscenes between the zones and everything. The subtle hints you get to see that Knuckles' story it takes place after Sonic's story. So you play through Sonic and you see what happens after with Knuckles' story. It's just so much fun. It's just so well done. It's just my favorite Sonic game.
That Sonic game was very far ahead of its time
Yeah.
for the Genesis.
Yeah, it is just my favorite Sonic game. My favorite game period. Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Okay. Solid choice. Very solid choice.
Okay. All right then. So stay tuned. We will have another Two Brothers review here coming up soon. Until then, see you next time. Goodbye.